wrong. So wrong. You gone wrong. So wrong. Don't you go next me up. I don't want to get back. You gone wrong.
3, 2, 1.
So wrong. Eyes up to the cloud, living for a better day. Head full of stress, need another place for my head to lay. They wanted raw shit. I'm about to give it to them. Came up with a boss bitch. She can fly to sit in the living room. So ain't no time to crap. It's time to get it out of this bitch. This was part of the plot. I was just spinning the map. Cut from another club. And a whole other vesture. Yeah, I'm all this. Text the color and text quick. Hit a talk in the west quick. Look how raw you got. They know that I'm bitch quick. I deserve all of this. Strive for heaven first. I outlive all my ball. But next thing he die with when the triple comes out long. When I heard for the back, you gon' do me fast. Ain't gon' you gon' take my clap. Ain't gon' you gon' extra out. Ain't gon' you with a I bet. Look at yourself, this cat. Ain't gon' you gon' do me like that. And I'm gonna go get back. You go wrong. So wrong. You go wrong. So wrong. Don't you go extra out. And I'm gonna go get back. You go wrong. So wrong. So wrong.
We'll play another song. Yeah. We back once again.
You want anything to drink?
No. You got any bottled water? Once again, we back. Shalom, Israel. Tonight's class is the history class. You know, when we're talking about history, we're talking about what's going on yesterday, today, and tomorrow. The Bible gives us everything we need to know. And like I said, the Bible talks about history of the past, it talks about the history of the present, and it talks about the history and the things to come in the future. You understand? So right now, what we want to talk about is we want to talk about what's going on right now. What's going on right now, and what is the big topic of the day is this coronavirus, you know. And dealing with this coronavirus, our leaders, our pastors, they are totally destroying us. The pastors are not delivering to the people what the people deserve. A people deserve a leader, and we are definitely not being led by these Christian pastors, nor are we being properly led by these politicians. And I speak of these black politicians because we have nothing to do with politicians of these other nations. We are not to look up to them. You understand what I'm saying? We shouldn't be dealing in their politics anyway. You know, everything that we need is in the Bible. The law, statutes, and commandments tells us how to deal in other nations and what we should and shouldn't do while we are occupying other nations or while we are living in other nations. But it's hard for our people because of what Martin Luther King did to us, how he destroyed us with integration. The Most High tells us that we are never to intermingle with the other nations. And when I say intermingle, I'm talking of marrying our sons to their daughters, marrying their daughters to our sons, dealing in their politics. You understand what I'm saying? Whenever you deal in another nation's politics, you have to deal by the rules that are set by them. And we all know that the rules that are set by them are totally biased to us. All of the rules and regulations that they have totally go against us. Anytime we enter into a court and you see a white judge, a white prosecutor, prosecuting attorney, a white bailiff, and any white jurors, you know that 9 times out of 10 and almost 10 times out of 10 that this judgment is definitely going to go against you. This is why the Most High tells us to separate from them, stay out of their politics, stay out of their culture and their customs. Those cultures and customs are for them. Those customs and cultures are not for us. You understand what I'm saying? So when we have been in this custom, in this culture for so long that our people are blind to what is going on to us. You understand? And our people are being blind so much that they can't tell that the politicians and the preachers and the pastors are totally going against everything that the Most High says. You know, and when you are accustomed to being in a, I like it like that. This room temperature is good for me. I always drink it like that. So watch. The customs and culture of this nation has always been against us. You understand what I'm saying? And first scripture, let's go to a scripture. Let's go to let me make sure I got the right one here. Let's go to Second Ezra. Excuse me. Ezra 9 and 12. Ezra chapter 9.
Wait a minute.
12.
Wait a minute. Something just happened. Whoa. What? What the?
You okay?
Wait a minute. Something just happened to us. Okay, we back. We good.
We ain't use connection, did we?
No, we on. Go ahead. What is it?
Okay, we're going to Ezra chapter 9, verse 12.
The book of Ezra, chapter 9 and verse 12. Now therefore, give not your daughters unto their sons.
It says, therefore, give not your daughters unto their sons. Now, why does it say, therefore, not give your daughters unto their sons? You got an answer to that? Okay, all right. That's cool. Why does it say, give not their daughters unto your sons? Let's go to the next verse. Go ahead.
Neither take their daughters unto your sons.
Neither take their daughters unto your sons. Why does it say that? It says that because once you intermingle in with another nation, as the children of Israel, we tend to fall towards the gods of the other nation. We tend to fall towards the customs and the culture of the other nation. We tend to eat that shrimp, crab, and lobster. We tend to smoke that weed. We tend to get high. And this is the reason why we have high blood pressure. We have the highest rate in high blood pressure. We are the highest in cholesterol levels. You understand? We are the highest in having heart attacks and things of that nature. You understand? And this is one of the main reasons why this COVID-19, which is this coronavirus, this is why it's hitting our community so hard. It's hitting our community so hard because we have all the underlying diseases that this disease attacks. This is a plague sent by the Most High. But because we have been so disobedient, we have all of the underlying disease. At first, when this disease first hit, it was only hitting the European nations. But because we have been so disobedient to the Most High, this is hitting us is just as hard, or even if not harder, than the other nations. And our people from the 12 tribes of Israel, we fall into this disease because we so disobedient to the Most High. Because we eating that shrimp, crab, and that lobster, because we eating all of that pork, because we are getting high and tearing our bodies down, because we are weakening our hearts by getting high, smoking drugs, selling drugs to our people, and destroying our people all the way around. You understand what I'm saying? But the Most High tells us not to intermingle, not to give our sons to their daughters and not to give our daughters to their sons. Because when we do that, we fall into their custom and their culture. You understand what I'm saying? And because we fall into their custom and their culture, the same plague that the Most High put upon them is affecting us. And it's affecting us rightfully so. Because we don't follow the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. You understand what I'm saying? And a lot of people sit around and they say, well, it's killing us worse than them. It's a biological warfare. It's no biological warfare. And even if this disease was created in a lab or anything, it's a plague that the Most High sent upon us. You understand? Sent upon our enemies. But when you don't follow instructions, and if somebody tells you to move out of the way of a out of control truck and you get hit, that's just what happens. You understand what I'm saying? Because you didn't heed the warning signs in the beginning, and most of us have heard the warning signs. A lot of us decided to what? To follow in our own path. You understand? To do what we think is good for us, and most of us think to do what's good for us is to follow the other nation. Is to follow Christianity, is to follow Islam, is to follow Buddhism, is to follow atheism, is to follow what's that Egyptology and dumb religions like that. You understand what I'm saying? This is why we are destroyed people today, because we don't listen. The Bible tells us what? That we are stiff-necked, hard-headed people. And I'm just paraphrasing. What you got, brother?
So the Lord said he would deal with his house first.
Exactly. The Lord said he would deal with his house first. And basically, what does that say? Listen, you can't go out and tell somebody to clean their house unless your house is clean first. And the Most High is dealing with us first. He sent that plague upon our enemies, but it's also weeding out the people or our people who are disobedient to him. You understand what I'm saying? It's also weeding out the people who are disobedient to him. This is what happens, when you don't obey and you don't do what the Most High says. You understand? It shouldn't even be a question. When this disease first hit, I'm gonna tell you just like this. Commanding General Yohana knew exactly what was going on, and I was proud to be under the tutelage of Commanding General Yohana and under all of the other generals and captains. You understand? I'm glad that I did take heed. I stopped eating that shrimp, crab, and that lobster. I stopped eating that pork. You understand what I'm saying? And I thank God that I did, because there's no telling where I could have been at 3 years ago. You understand? Well, coming up on my 3rd year now, So this is the reason why we are being destroyed by this plague. Go ahead, brother. Finish.
God. Wait a minute, let me get back to it real quick. All right. That ye may be strong, nor seek their peace.
Nor seek their peace. And that's a problem with the 12 tribes of Israel, and especially with Judah. We always want to seek peace. We always want to seek love. But how can you seek love from an enemy? First off, from an enemy, and an enemy that hates you. We have been in this captivity for over 400 years. They have been destroying us for 400 years. And every time we step up to the plate, we always gotta try to seek peace from them. We always gotta try to be on the good side, regardless of. This is where we were really destroyed by Martin Luther King. Him stepping up and saying, don't turn the other cheek. You understand? If they hit you, turn the other cheek and give them the other cheek. Our people are so destroyed. The Christian church has totally destroyed us. We always seeking peace. You go to court and watch these heathens in court when it's one of our brothers on the stand, and they do not forgive. And they tell you right in court, I will not forgive you. I got a couple of clips that show these heathens saying, I will not forgive. But every time they destroy, they kill us. Dylan Root killed 9 people in a church. What was that in South Carolina? In South Carolina, And these families forgave him. They didn't even ask the Most High for justice. They forgave him. You understand? How can you just like what's the girl whose father got shot in the church while they were having church? The heathen pulled out a shotgun and shot him, and she called him the devil, and then said she forgives him. We are destroyed people. We are totally destroyed people. You understand what I'm saying? Michael Brown, was that Michael Brown's wife that said he wasn't killed by who's the one that was choked out?
Eric Garner.
No, who's Michael Brown?
Michael Brown was shot.
He was shot, and then his wife got on the news and said that it didn't have anything to do with race. It doesn't have anything to do with race, but we don't see any Chinese people being just randomly shot in the street. You don't see East Indians being shot in the street. Even after 9/11 happened, you never saw a single Arab being dragged out of their car, slammed to the ground, and shot in the back of the head. No mistaken identity. No, I feared for my life when it comes to them. No African. I've never seen an African pulled out of his car and shot and killed. I have never seen an African pulled over and shot in his car. I have never seen that done to an Arab, an East Indian, or anybody from these other nations, nor a Korean, nor a Chinese. Nobody wants to believe that it's about race. None of our people want to believe that it's about race. We believe everything that our oppressor tells us. We are a destroyed people. And when you fall into the customs and culture of another nation, your brain is filthified. I just made up.
Yeah,
Filthified. And this is where you come. You come into the Isupkbmore to be brainwashed, to have that filthified washed away. Yeah, we are brainwashed, but we are brainwashed into the truth. You understand what I'm saying? And because we brainwashed into the truth, we can tell who our enemies are. We know who our enemies are. We know what the enemy looks like. But what we're trying to do is get our brothers and sisters to see and understand who the enemy is. The Bible tells us what? Trust not thine enemy. So if the Bible tells us to trust not thine enemy, let me ask a question. Who is our enemy? Can somebody tell me who our enemy is? Give me 20 seconds. Come on. Give me 20 seconds. See if anything. We got anybody online? You got enough people online? There's not enough people online? There's not enough people online. Let's go to Job 9:24. Let's go to that. We're gonna hold this right here, this Ezra, but we're gonna jump to Job 9:24. And we're gonna come back to Ezra 9:12.
Job chapter 9 and verse 24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked.
Say that again.
The earth is given into the hand of the wicked.
It says the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. Now, it's saying the earth is given into the hand of the wicked, right? Who runs the earth? Who runs all the businesses across the earth? Let's ask this question. Who owns all the major sports teams across the face of the earth? Our oppressor, right? Who owns all the major food chains all across this earth? Our oppressor. Who owns all of the clothing stores, the major clothing stores across the face of the earth? Our oppressor. Who do you have to buy gas from? And I know you see the East Indian in the gas station. I know you see the Arab in the gas station. But who allows that East Indian and that Arab to own those gas stations? Our oppressor. And most of the time when they own those gas stations, they own the gas stations in your neighborhood. You understand what I'm saying? They own the gas stations in our neighborhood. The oppressor allows the North Korean and the South Korean and the Chinese to come into your neighborhood and own all the corner stores. When we were growing up, all of the corner stores used to be owned by black people in our neighborhood. We bought candy, we bought snacks, and we bought all kinds of goodies from the black people in our neighborhoods. And the food was not outdated. The oppressor allows these nations to come in. The oppressor is your enemy. Read that again, brother.
The earth is given into the hand of the wicked.
The earth is given into the hands of the wicked. Our oppressor is the owner. He rules this earth right now. He is your enemy. He rules this earth right now. And the earth has been given into the hands of the wicked. The Bible tells us that, in the Bible it tells us, Christ says that the kingdom of heaven is at hand. The earth doesn't have to be run by the wicked. The earth doesn't have to be run by our oppressor. Christ tells us to separate from them. The Most High tells us to separate from them. And when you separate from them, you move to your own people. And when we move to our own people, their kingdom will fall. Look, check this out. Just in the first 2 or 3 days of the coronavirus, and their whole kingdom began to fall apart. You understand what I'm saying? The Most High brought this plague in to show you how feeble they are, how weak they are, how dependent on you that they are. But they give you the illusion that you need them. And that's where most of our people stand at. We look at them and we think that we need them when we don't. 70% of the United States economy is built on the consumer. And who is the consumer? Who is the consumer? We are the consumer. You understand what I'm saying? We are the consumer. What is a consumer? What is a consumer? A consumer is a person or people who take in. To consume means to take in. You consuming, you're taking in. When you consume food, you take in. When you consume air, you take in. When you drink something, you take in. You consume it. But we don't buy. We don't sell. We buy, but we don't sell. And their economy is built on what we do. Think about this. What was that? What year was that? Was that 1963? The Alabama bus boycott? 1963 to 64? Come on. Alabama
look it up.
bus boycott. It was either 64 to 65 or 63 to 64. Lasted about a year.
All right. Montgomery bus boycott.
That's it. Montgomery, Alabama. Yeah.
Said December the 5th, 1955
Excuse me, Salah.
through December the 20th, 1956.
55 to 56. Let me ask a question. That bus boycott lasted about a year, right? Our oppressors still owned all of the stores, all of the supermarkets, all of the restaurants, all of the movie theaters. What made them give into that bus boycott? What made them give into that bus boycott? What made them give into that bus boycott was their economy began to break down. And it was the bus boycott didn't just happen in Alabama. It happened all over the nation. All over the nation, in different cities, in different urban cities, people were boycotting the buses. And because they were boycotting the buses, it took a year. It took close to a year, but their whole economy began to break down and suffer. Our people don't understand the power that we have, and the Most High tries to tell us that we are above all nations upon the face of the earth. In order for us to be above all nations upon the face of the earth, you have to have some kind of power. What kind of power do we have? We have the power of the Most High. We have His law, statutes, and commandments. His law, statutes, and commandments tell us how to operate. He tells us we should not depend on another nation to take care of us. Everything that we need, we have in this Bible. But because we depend on another man in another man's house, and we would rather live under another man's rule, this is the reason why we suffer the way we suffer. And rightfully so, because our dependence is in man, in our oppressor. Our dependence is not in the Most High. The Most High tells us everything that we need to do. You understand what I'm saying? Let's go back to Ezra. Let's go back to Ezra.
Ezra 9 and 12. You want to start where we left off?
Yeah, start where we left off. Nor seek.
Or, nor seek their peace or their wealth forever.
It says, nor seek their peace, nor their wealth forever. That's a big problem with us right there. And this is the reason why we sell our own people out. You understand? We seek their peace for one thing. You understand what I'm saying? And then we seek their wealth. Look at our last mayor that we just had, Catherine Pugh. She seeked their peace. She seeked their peace. And when she thought she had their peace, then she sought their wealth. You understand what I'm saying? And because she sought their wealth, they had to put her in her place. They had to remind her of who she was. This is why we are a destroyed people, because we seek their peace and then we seek their wealth. The Bible clearly tells us, nor seek their peace or their wealth forever. The Most High gave us all the peace we need. He gave us all the wealth that we need. Everything that we have, the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Everything that we have is in this book. But we choose to live under another man's roof, under another man's rules. And because you seek to live like that, what do we say in the UPK? We say that whenever you integrate into, you become the thing that you integrate into. You understand what I'm saying? You become that thing that you move into. You integrate into America, you become American. We are not American. We are Hebrew Israelite. We are not American. We are not African. We are not African American. We are the Hebrew Israelite. And because we are the Hebrew Israelite, we have all our laws, statutes, and commandments. This is our constitution. This is our moral compass. The Bible is our moral compass. And all we have to do is follow the law, statutes, and commandments, and we'd be okay. This coronavirus was just a sample that the Most High gave you, just to show you how weak the economy is. Everything that they're doing right now is really to butter up the people. And when I say butter up the people, I'm not talking about their people. I'm talking about our people. Everything that they're doing right now is to butter up our people, so everybody will remember, oh, whenever we need something, they'll give it to us. Oh, when they let us work and they let us not work and still pay us for it. That's going to sit in everybody's mind. When the bigger picture is the work that you were doing, you should have probably been paid twice as much or 3 times as much as you are making. These people are not called oppressors because they got you working for them. They're called oppressors because they are oppressing us. That's what an oppressor does. And because we don't understand what an oppressor is, we don't recognize our oppressor as an enemy. This is a total enemy against us. It tells us nor seek their peace or their wealth forever. All they have to do is give us a few trinkets, a little something here, a car here, a million. Think about this, right? They can give a ball player $150 million and make out, right? They give them $150 million and make out. Why do they give them $150 million? Back, if you bring it back some, they give them $150 million because when you see that player get that drop in the bucket, because that's all it is compared to an owner and what an owner is bringing in. Think about it. They give him $150 million to play basketball, let's say over 5 years, right? In that 1 year, that owner could make $1 billion, $1 billion, as opposed to $150 million. That is nothing but a drop in the bucket. He's making enough to pay the whole team $150 million for 5 years, but he's making that in 1 year. So $150 million is nothing but a drop in the bucket. But when that owner gives him $150 million, then our brothers and sisters feel like, oh, I made it. And then us, who don't get the $150 million, we look at them like they made it. And then we look at ourselves like, hey, that's what I want to do. I want to work for the oppressor and make me $150 million. This is what keeps the cycle going. Because we want to live in their customs and their culture, we continue to be destroyed.
That's right.
And once we figure we can't make it to that sports level, then what do? We fall back and we begin to sell their drugs that they drop into our community.
That's right.
So there again, we fall into their custom and their culture. Selling drugs is not our custom and our culture. But because we are a destroyed people, we're trying to make it any way we can. You understand what I'm saying? The lack of education throws us out on the street. A lack of education has us in these projects and all these boroughs and everything like that. You understand what I'm saying? We're supposed to be living in our own community. Let me ask a question. Where does the Chinese man live at? Where does the Korean live at? I know they ain't catching a plane from China and Korea every day and catching it back and taking money back. You understand what I'm saying? They have their own communities. They come in, they sneak into your city, they sneak into your community, they take all your money and they tote it out in the middle of the night and go build up theirs. I'm pretty sure we all know we done put 1 million Koreans through medical school. You understand what I'm saying? We have made 1 million of East Indians into doctors. You understand? They selling us everything under the sun, but they refuse to buy from us. That's a silent boycott right there. That's what a silent boycott is. That's the boycott that we should be doing. We should be refusing to sell to them. Or we should be refusing to buy from them, Salakia. We should be refusing to buy from them and force them to buy from us. You understand? Because the economy hinges on us, not the Korean, not the East Indian, not the African, not the Arab. The economy is not built on them; it's built on us. And this is why every nation comes into our community and pillages off of us. Because we like this custom and this culture. We like what we're doing. We like where we are. All right, brother, go ahead, finish reading that.
That ye may be strong.
It says that ye may be strong. Hey, listen, when you are under your own custom and your culture, you are strong. Because when you're under your own custom and your culture, you can build up your nation. You can teach your own children. You can sell to your own people. You understand? Our money could circulate in our community. we could have the best. We should have the best looking communities in this whole United States. No community. We built everything in the United States. Everything that you're looking at was built on our blood, sweat, and tears. We can't understand that. Our people look at it and say, "Oh, the white man built that." No, we built that for the white man. We built that for our oppressor. You understand what I'm saying? But we have been blinded. We have been blinded. We have been blinded by who? Our preachers, our pastors, and our politicians. These are people who hate us. Any man that can sell his people for 30 shekels of silver is a hateful person.
Let's get through the scripture.
Go ahead.
And eat the good things of the land.
And eat the good things of the land. We should be eating the good things of the land. But because we living under them and we letting them feed us, we eating the terrible things of the land. We eating all that pork, that shrimp, that crab, that lobster, everything bad in the pig we eat. That's why we destroy people. Go ahead.
And leave it for an inheritance to your children forever.
And leave it for an inheritance for your children forever. We have nothing to leave for our children.
Right.
Forever. We don't own a single thing to hand down to our children. You understand? And this is the reason why Commanding General Yohana is building this nation up right now. Building it from the ground up. So we will have an inheritance to leave to our children. And he's building it right here on these laws, statutes, and commandments that was given to us by the Most High. You understand? He's building it on the laws, statutes, and commandments that's in this Bible. All we have to do is follow it. Follow what they say, follow the breadcrumbs. The breadcrumbs is right in the Bible. It tells you everything to do. You understand what I'm saying? But we don't want to do that. You understand? We don't want to do that.
Hey, Salak, I got a precept for you. I want you to break down why you want it, why you on this. 1 Peter 4:17.
1 Peter, let's go to 1 Peter 4:17.
1 Peter. All right, the book of 1 Peter 4 and verse 17. For the time is come that judgment must begin at the house of God.
For the time is come that the judgment must begin at the house of God. What does that mean? For the time has come that the judgment must begin at the house of God. The judgment must begin with us, right? The judgment must begin with us. Right? As I said, right? I was waiting for years. But the judgment must begin with us. Look at this coronavirus, right? The coronavirus started off hitting our oppressor, but now it's rolling and hitting us harder than it's hitting our oppressor. The judgment must start with us. Our eyes have to be open to what the Most High is doing. Our people really can't recognize the reason why this virus is hitting us so hard, because the judgment must start with us. You understand? The judgment is starting with us with this coronavirus. This is why now that our numbers are going up in the deaths. And we talked about that earlier. Because we are number one in heart disease. Because we have high cholesterol levels. Because we are, that obesity runs rampant in our community. Because we smoking that weed and it's destroying our bodies, right, giving us all kinds of health issues. Because we get high, we shoot those drugs, and those drugs weakening our lungs, weakening your liver and everything like that, and giving you all of these underlying diseases. This is the reason why this judgment starts with our house. You understand? And whenever a judgment starts with your house, some people are going to perish by the judgment of the Most High. And only rightfully so. When you have a father and your father gives you rule and you totally keep disobeying, eventually punishment has to come. You understand what I'm saying? Punishment has to come, and this what's happening with this coronavirus is the punishment. You understand? This is the reason why we being destroyed the way we are, because we want to follow our oppressor. Go ahead, read.
It's getting me. Wait a minute.
17. You get the first part.
Around Salaki, the landlord is Salaki. Let me read it over again.
Okay.
First Peter 4 and verse 17. For the time has come that judgment must begin at the house of God.
And that's what we just spoke about. The judgment has begun with the house of God. That's why people are falling. Go ahead.
And if it first begin at us,
Go ahead.
what shall the end be of them that obey not the gospel of the Most High?
What shall be the end be of them that obey not the gospel of God? What shall be the end of them? They shall perish. You understand what I'm saying? They shall perish. And that's what's happening right now. You understand what I'm saying? What shall the end be of them that obey not the gospel of God? Who was the gospel of God given to? Give me that. Who was the gospel of God given to? Let's check that out. Let's go to, we're going to hold our finger on this 1 Peter and 4:17, and we're going to go to Psalms 144. Psalms 144, 19 and 20.
The book of Psalms 144.
147.
147, okay.
Psalm 147. But this should intertwine with that end part right
Psalms 147 and 19.
19 and 20.
The book of Psalms 147 and 19. He showeth his word unto Jacob.
He said he showeth his word unto Jacob. Who is Jacob? Jacob is the progenitor of the 12 tribes of Israel. Jacob wrestled with the angel, and the angel blessed him by changing his name to Israel, and he is the father of the 12 tribes of Israel. Go ahead.
His statutes and his judgments unto Israel.
His statutes and his judgments unto Israel. His laws and then his judgments for breaking the law unto Israel. Go ahead.
Okay. He have not dealt so with any nation.
Say that again.
He has not dealt so with any nation.
It says he have not dealt so with any nation. These laws, statutes, and commandments were not given to any other nation. So no other nation can be judged by these laws, statutes, and commandments because they were not given to them. Go ahead, read.
And as for his judgment, they have not known them.
It says, and as for his judgments, they have not known them. They are not bound by these laws, statutes, and commandments, and this is the reason why they are not judged by the laws, statutes, and commandments. The people who are destroyed because they disobey the laws, statutes, and commandments are the 12 tribes of Israel. You understand what I'm saying? We are the ones who have to obey the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. And when we disobey, we are the ones who are destroyed for not listening to the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. Now let's go back to where was we at? That was Ezra.
God. You want to go to Ezra or 1 Peter?
1 Peter. I'm so Salakia. 1 Peter. My bad. 1 Peter 4 and 17.
Okay.
And hit that end part again.
And if it first begin at us, what shall the end be of them?
What shall the end be of them that obey not the gospel of God? The end be for them that obey not the gospel of God is they will be destroyed. And this is why our people are falling to this COVID-19. See, a lot of people thought it was a joke in the beginning because people wanted to sit back and they wanted to laugh and say, oh, we not being affected. You understand what I'm saying? But the people who do not follow the law, statutes, and commandment of the Most High will surely be affected by this COVID-19. They will be affected by this coronavirus. You understand? And not all in the same way. Everybody not going to all be affected in the same way. It may not be you that fall to it. It may be a family member. It may be a close friend. You understand what I'm saying? But in some way, everybody will be affected. You understand? And by us being the 12 tribes of Israel, even if a single Israelite falls to this coronavirus, we are affected. Because even if you're not following these laws, statutes, and commandments, you are one of the 12 tribes of Israel, and we are all family. You understand? So we all are affected, even if it's not someone that we know. You understand? And this is the reason why Commander General Yohana has us out there on those Saturdays, on those street corners, talking and trying to bring out people back into the fold. You understand? Trying to bring out people back to the law, statutes, and commandments, because we are destroyed because of a lack of knowledge. Let's go to that. Let's go to that scripture. That will be Hosea 4:6. Get that, Hosea chapter 4, verse 6.
Salaki, let me talk to this lady.
Okay, go ahead. Reason why we are destroyed people, because we have it's a lack of knowledge. You understand? It says Hosea chapter 4 verse 6. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. What is knowledge? Knowledge is truth. You understand? Knowledge is, everybody thinks knowledge is knowing anything, the knowledge of anything, but knowledge is these laws, statutes, and commandments. That's what true knowledge is. True knowledge is the law, statutes, and commandments. You understand? And our people lack true knowledge. We lack knowledge of the law, statutes, and commandments. This is the reason why we eating this shrimp, crab, and this lobster. This is the reason why we eating all of this pork. This is the reason why we getting high. This is the reason why we going out there and we robbing our brothers and our sisters. We shooting and killing ourselves. You understand? Because we are destroyed for the lack of knowledge. Come back to these laws, statutes, and commandments, and our community, our nation would blossom. We not blossoming, and we I can't say that we are not blossoming. We are blossoming. You understand? But our nation could be a whole hell of a lot better if we came back to these laws, statutes, and commandments. If we look at it like this, if our nation comes back to these laws, statutes, and commandments, our oppressor wouldn't own all of these sports teams. It would be us. You understand what I'm saying? Our oppressor wouldn't own all the big chains and food markets. It would be us. Our oppressor wouldn't own all of the best clothing stores. Think about it. All of the fashion and everything that happens in America hinges on the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Negroes. You understand what I'm saying? Blacks, Hispanics, and Negroes. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. You understand what I'm saying? Everything hinges on what we do. When they bring things out, and it's certified by us. You understand what I'm saying? It's certified by us. You know? And the thing is now they really not even coming out and certifying anything by us. They making all of this homosexual wear. You understand? They making all of these homosexual wear, and then on top of it, they selling you the same sneaker over and over and over again, changing the color and selling it to you as a new sneaker. You understand? They playing with you. They playing with us like we fools now. You understand? Tight jeans and the same sneakers. Tight jeans and the same sneakers. You understand? That's why we are destroyed people. We're supposed to be the trendsetters. We're supposed to be creating our own stuff, not letting some homosexual white man sit up there and create something and then put it on us. You understand what I'm saying? We like mannequins. You understand? We like mannequins. You know, I mean, we letting them fit us with clothes and then pushing us out there and letting us fashion it for our people, and then our people are sucking it right up. I mean, tight jeans, tight suits, all this homosexual wear. I mean, they got LeBron James and what's his name, Dwayne Wade wearing all this tight gay stuff. I mean, come on now. You understand? That's not our people. Tight jeans, man. Come on, man. That's crazy. But we letting them fashion us instead of us making the fashion. We supposed to be creating all of the fashion. Everybody wants to be us, but nobody wants to suffer the pain as us. You understand what I'm saying? We should be the total trendsetters. We shouldn't be letting them market stuff and then setting the trend by the way we go. We should be setting the trend from the top to the bottom. Everything should be us from the top to the bottom. But because we enjoy being in this oppressive society, because we enjoy living in these customs and this culture of this nation, this is the reason why we sit in the place that we sit. This is the reason why every nation comes from, all of these people come from third world countries, and they come, and as soon as they enter the United States, they are automatically over top of us. People coming in from rice paddy fields are directly straight over top of us. How do we get here? How do we get to a place where we are second-class citizens to everybody? Everybody walks all over top of us. They sell us inferior food. They sell us anything that they want to sell us, and then act like we owe them. We are the salt of the earth. We are what makes this earth run. We are what makes the people don't go to the basketball game to see white people play basketball. People don't go to the football game to see white people play football. You understand? They don't do all of these things to see these people do. You know, they don't go to see their people. They come to see us. So because they come to see us, we should move away from them. We should be doing what we do. We should allow them in instead of them allowing us in. You understand? That's reverse integration. We should be the ones allowing them in when we want them to come in and when we don't want them to come in. But because we have a lack of knowledge, this is what we settle for. Let's see, it says, because thou hast rejected knowledge, and because we have rejected knowledge, this is why we sit where we are. Because we have rejected knowledge. It says, because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee. It says, because we have rejected the knowledge of the Most High will reject us. This is why he puts us under the foot of our oppressor. This is why we being destroyed by rogue police. This is why we being shot dead in the street. This is the reason why our sisters are being taken up into those jails and being raped by the police. You understand? Because we reject the Most High has rejected us. We are destroyed people. You understand? Because of a lack of knowledge. You understand? Because of a lack of knowledge, that's why we sit in the position that we sit in. And it says that thou shalt be no priest to me, seeing thou hast forgotten the laws of thy God. You can't be a priest to the Most High and have forgotten the laws, statutes, and commandments. You can't be a priest to the Most High. We have to remember. Let's say it like this. You got to remember where you came from. We got to remember where we came from. We came from these laws, statutes, and commandments. When we was living under these laws, statutes, and commandments, everything was beautiful. You understand? I'm not saying that there wasn't trouble in paradise, but we were living under our own rule. Every captivity that we went into, We went into the Assyrian captivity, the Babylonian captivity, Egyptian captivity, this American captivity. You understand this European captivity that we in right now? We went into these captivities because we forgotten the law, statutes, and commandments. And when you reject the Most High will reject you. Well, this 400 years of oppression is up, but we sit here suffering because we refuse to come back to the law, statutes, and commandments. We come back to these law, statutes, and commandments, this kingdom will fall. When their kingdom falls, our kingdom will rise. And our kingdom can only rise if we come back to the law, statutes of the Most High. Seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy God, I will also forget thy children. He has forgotten us. You forget the Most High, and the Most High will forget you. You understand what I'm saying? This is just the way it is. When you forget the Most High forgets you. It's like this. When you keep telling the child, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this, don't do that, eventually you gotta let the child find out on his own. You understand what I'm saying? Don't touch the stove, don't touch the stove, you're gonna burn yourself, Eventually you're gonna say, okay, go ahead, touch the stove. He burns himself and he finds out. You understand what I'm saying? We've been burning for over 400 years. It's time to wake up and understand we can't touch the stove. You understand? The stove is hot. You understand? We have been burnt for long enough. It's time to take your hand off of the stove and to heal. The only way that we heal is to come back to these laws, statutes, and commandments that was given to us by the Most High. We are destroyed people for a lack of knowledge. Knowledge is right here in these laws, statutes, and commandments. All we have to do is come back. You understand? Let's say, where we at? As they were increased, so they sinned against me. The more and more we get from this society, the further and further we move away from the Most High. We gotta stop accepting trinkets and small gifts, small menial gifts from this oppressor. This oppressor has us thinking that this is the best thing since sliced bread, when the bread is not even been sliced. You understand what I'm saying? We are being destroyed because we are accepting something that isn't even worth its weight in gold. You understand what I'm saying? We are a destroyed people because of a lack of knowledge. Therefore, will I change their glory into shame. Therefore, he will change our glory into shame. And he has done that. Everything that we had, we don't have anymore. Our oppressor owns us and everything in this world. You understand what I'm saying? We are basically modern day slaves. You go to work every day to get a paycheck, only to give it back to the oppressor. We got brothers and sisters that have to work 2 and 3 jobs just to make ends meet. You go to work 2 and 3 jobs just to make ends meet, to give that money back to the oppressor and to grind out another month just to make ends meet. Your glory has been changed to shame. We were the best things placed on this earth. The Most High said he made us a peculiar people above all nations on the face of this earth. But as it stands right now, we have traded in our glory for shame. This is the reason why we sit the way we sit now. This is the reason why we're in the predicament that we are in right now. We are destroyed people for lack of knowledge. Knowledge is everything. Knowledge is power. And all the power we have is right here in this Bible. This Bible has the ability to make us the head and them the tail. But we don't choose this Bible. We choose the Quran. We choose Buddhism. We choose atheism. We choose Egyptology. We choose anything but what the Most High gave us. And it says in the Bible that when you reject the Most High will reject you. And that's what has happened to us. But the Most High has given us a sign with this coronavirus. And that sign is that he's showing us how weak this nation is. Within a matter of days, this nation began to crumble. Now Trump is trying to send and open the country back up so that he can stop losing money. You understand? He's not concerned about the country, but he's losing money. You understand? That's the reason why. Because the oppressor is losing. And the oppressor does not like to lose. But we have the ability and the power to make this oppressor lose forever. All we got to do is come back to the 12 tribes, to the law, statutes, and commandments that were given to the 12 tribes of Israel. Let's go to Revelations chapter 13, verse 10. Revelation chapter 13, verse 10. Let's talk about our oppression. Our oppressor. Revelation chapter 13, verse 10. And what does Revelation chapter 13, verse 10 say? It says, he that leadeth into captivity. Who has led us into captivity? The Babylonians in Babylonian captivity. The Assyrians in the Assyrian captivity. The Egyptians in the Egyptian captivity. And now the European and the American captivity. It says, he that leadeth into captivity shall what? Shall go into captivity.
Where you at, Bree?
We at Revelation chapter 13, verse 10.
Should lock you on that. Revelation.
Our oppressor has led us into captivity. The Most High is bringing this coronavirus into existence right now to show you how weak their economy is. It shows you how weak their nation is. And their nation is so weak because it is built on us. And because they led us into captivity, he's showing you that they shall go into captivity. The only reason why Trump wants to open this nation back up is because, like I said before, he's losing money. Everything that he has is falling apart. Guess what? Trump does not want to be president right now at this moment. Why doesn't he want to be president? Because he wants to get back and start his businesses back up and get his businesses running. But he knows he has to hold on to this job to get this nation back open so that he can make money again. Oh, his whole world is falling apart around him. You can see it in his face every time he comes on every time he gives a speech. His whole thing is he got to get this country back open again.
So, like, if I could, he's a hotel owner. Hotels.
He got hotels everywhere. Hotels
90%. Boom.
You can't even go on the golf course. He losing money, hand over foot. He is watching his whole kingdom fall apart. He watching everything that his father gave him because he didn't work for what he got. He watching everything that his father gave him fall apart. His mother already said he was incompetent. You understand what I'm saying? He is incompetent. And now he's watching his whole world fall apart. He does not want to be president right now.
They scared as hell.
He's scared as hell. He doesn't want to be president right now. But he got, what did you say? He got duped into the job.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what? The Most High placed him there for a reason. The Most High placed him there to show you and to open your eyes to what your oppressor really is.
He thought it was going to be a sweet deal for him.
It was going to be a cakewalk.
He thought he was going to get up in that office and twist and do all the rotten, disgusting criminalizing that he does with his regular business. Exactly. He was going to take the American economy and deal with it like he's dealt with his business and rip off and rob every goddamn body in the country, and was going to do it under the gouge of, I'm going to keep you safe from black and Hispanics. I'm going to build a wall. I'm going to put drugs in them niggas' community and destroy them niggas. And I'm going to make every white person take back what's rightfully theirs and have a little something. This coronavirus hit, boom, it destroyed all his damn plans.
Listen, he thought, right? He thought it was going to be business as usual. They call them conservatives, right? Conservatives do what? If black people, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are being destroyed and we making money, we want to be conservative and keep everything the way it is. That's what a conservative is. You understand what I'm saying? A conservative wants to continue to make money while they are continuing to destroy the children of Israel. This is how all the great nations were built. The Babylonian captivity, the Assyrian captivity, Egyptian captivity, all of these captivities were built on being conservative. We will build money, we will make money for ourselves, and we will continue to destroy the nation of Israel. This is how they all were. This is how they all were built. This is how all of these nations or all of these captivities went. You understand? And it's no different from the American captivity. Think about this, right? You got free in so-called 1865, right? By the Emancipation Proclamation. The Emancipation Proclamation freed you, and in less than 50 years, we already had black millionaires, black communities, black cities, right? They realized that their economy was falling apart because once they hit World War I, then they went into the Great Depression. Guess who wasn't in the Depression? So-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. We were succeeding. And they looked around and said, why are they succeeding and why are we still in this depression? So what did they do? They came and destroyed those cities around Black Wall Street, all of the other cities that we had in America. They brought those cities down, destroyed those cities. They defaulted on all of the insurances. Now black people had to depend on America again.
A war crime.
That was a war crime, exactly, because one people attacked another people. That was a war crime. You understand? And nobody has been brought up on those charges yet. And it says in the Bible that he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Everything that they destroyed of ours will be destroyed of theirs. You understand? The Most High brought this coronavirus to show you or to show us how weak this economy is. This economy is only hair thin. Listen, it says the kingdom of heaven is at hand. You pop this thread right here, and we will rise, and they will fall. It's simple. We saw it. We saw it happen in Alabama in 1955 to 56. You saw just the inkling of it. You saw it when it happened in 1920, after slavery into the 1920s with Tulsa, Oklahoma, with the Black Wall Street and all those other black cities and communities around the country. You understand what I'm saying? It's nothing to come back to the Most High. Everything that we look forward to, everything that you're fighting and struggling for, the reason why you're fighting and struggling is because this is the way the oppressor's system is set up for you to fight and to struggle. How does your oppressor go into a bank having less knowledge than you, having less experience than you, having less money than you, having a worse credit score than you, gets better financing than you do? Because the oppressor runs the system. And when the oppressor runs the system, the oppressor gets to do what he wants. This is the reason why we can't win in court. This is why we are destroyed. You understand? Because you living under another man's house, under another man's rule. And you can never, living in another man's house, understand another man's rules. This is the reason why you have to be living in your own house under your own rules. And what are our rules? The laws, statutes, and commandments that was given to us by the Most High. This is the reason why we got to come back to these laws, statutes, and commandments. It says that he that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. The way we being destroyed in the streets, this is the way the Most High is going to come and destroy them. You understand what I'm saying? This is the way when Christ returns, this is the way they're going to be destroyed. You understand? This is the reason why we pray that the Most High comes back and destroys our oppressor. This is what our people can't understand. When we get up in those courts and all of a sudden we see our oppressor with tears in their eyes and they crying and they giving you this mumbo jumbo about, oh, I'm sorry and all that. And we give them all the forgiveness in the world. But they give you no forgiveness. They give us no forgiveness. They give us no forgiveness because we are living in the world of our oppressor, and our oppressor refuses to let his people fall, to let us be on top. Even if it's just in a menial case, one case, they will not let us rise. You understand what I'm saying? And this is the reason why we should separate from them. The Most High tells us to separate from them. You understand what I'm saying? Let's get that.
Here is the patience and the faith of the saints.
Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. Go ahead.
And I beheld. You want to go to 11? Yes. Oh,
no.
You can go ahead and break down that part. Is the patience and the faith of the saints. That's the best part. I got you. I got you. I'm gonna break down that real quick. Here's the patience. I'm good. They can hear me. Here's the patience and the faith of the saints. What we're patiently waiting for is justice. We're patient. Go ahead.
No.
Go ahead.
You want me to start? Go ahead. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. What are we patiently waiting for? Waiting for Christ to return. You understand what I'm saying? And when Christ returns, we will get our judgment. We will get our, what do they call? What is it called?
Justice.
Justice. There we go. We will get our justice. Here is the patience and the faith of the saint. You have to have faith in the Most High. You understand? To get that justice that is what is rightfully deserved. But a lot of us don't have the faith and the patience of the saints. And because we don't have the patience and the faith of the saints, we depend on our oppressor. And because we depend on our oppressor, this is how he weeds us out. He separates us. He gets us to fight the infighting. He gets us to sell drugs to our own people. He gets us to destroy our own people in political offices. This is how he gets our preachers and our pastors to preach that abortion in churches. You understand what I'm saying? This is the faith and the patience of the saints. We don't have, a lot of us lack that faith and that patience of the saints. But this is the reason why Commanding General Yohana gets us out there and preaches this word and speaks this word to bring our people back so they can have the faith and the patience of the saints. You understand what I'm saying? You got something on that? You got something on that? Okay. All right. So I want to go to Deuteronomy chapter 28. No, first I want to go to Deuteronomy 14:2 first.
You got like 2 minutes.
Okay, I want to go to Deuteronomy. Well, all right, hold up, wait a minute, stop then. Let's go to Deuteronomy 28:7 then. Yeah, 28:7. No, let's go to 28:1 first.
In the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, first verse. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
It says, and if it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, if we will listen and hear the voice of the Lord thy God. Go ahead.
to observe and to do all his commandments.
It says to do all his commandments, read.
Which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth.
It says, the Lord, it says, which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations upon the face of the earth. All we had to do is come back to these laws, statutes, and commandments, and the Most High will put us above all nations on the face of the earth. Above all nations. Everybody will look up to us. But let's drop down to verse 20. Let's drop down to verse 7.
Deuteronomy 28 and verse 7.
Go ahead.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and the verse 7. The Most High shall cause thine enemies that rise up against thee to be smitten before thy face.
It says the Lord shall cause thine enemies that rise up. Anybody that rises up against us, if we follow in the Most High, they will be smitten in front of thy face. The Most High will take them out. He will destroy them in front of our face. This is the reason why we're waiting for the return of the Christ, so that our enemies, our oppressor, can be smitten in front of our face. Go ahead.
They shall come out against thee one way and flee before thee 7 ways.
They shall come out in one. They shall come out in order, right? They shall come out looking like they got it all together. But once the Most High takes hold of them, they will flee in every direction. They will be destroyed in every direction. You understand what I'm saying? They will flee in every direction. This is what's happening to them with this coronavirus. They thought they had it all together. They came out and thought they were in unison with each other. But once the Most High set into them with this coronavirus, they began to flee and to scatter in every direction. Nation was against nation. They started shutting their borders to other nations. And they were getting pissed off because other nations were being shut off. You understand what I'm saying? But all we got to do is come back to the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High, and we will be the head, and they will be the tail. And with that, I want to say we are the Israelite School, and Salakia, sir, I didn't say that in the beginning. We are the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Started out at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under the commanding General Yohana. We have been bringing this truth since 1969. And what is that truth? That truth is that the so-called blacks, the so-called Hispanics, and the so-called Native Indians are the true Jews of the Bible, and the white man is the devil that the Bible speaks of. And with that, I'm going to pass the class over to Priest Officer Kawan Falak. Might be a little tight to hear, a little bit.
Look, I had about 20 more scriptures. I think I'm gonna use them the rest of them tomorrow.
I know, Salakia. I had to talk to him. I'm going to tell you what he said.
All right.
Keep going. And peace. All right. Salaki is real. Hold tight, Negro. Damn. Security announcement. With the Isupkbmore out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding General Yohana. New rules for brothers and sisters. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head, that's the camp leader, to speak to the brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother or sister will court each other. After this 6 month period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. You can find this in Numbers 18:21, Malachi 3:8-10, means tenth in the Hebrew, and it's pronounced Mashra. 10% of every penny of every increase of the Lord gives you, give to the treasury department or teacher, priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory, whatsoever amount you would like to give. I'm coming over the congregation. Remind Akim, Akwafium, to check on social media such as Isupkbmore, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on for Isupkbmore events and materials. If a brother wants to be a trooper in the school, then he is to start wearing all black, which includes black boots, shirts, pants, headbands, or scarf. We have the Passover that's still going to break off. It's still going to break off. It's going to bust off, man. You understand? It might be a month after. It might be 2 months after. But when the Lord is finished dealing with his house, like the brother was saying, the Lord going to clean his house, which is the house of Israel, and then he going to deal grievously with the heathen. Because he is surely dismayed by the heathen. That's another precept we're going to get to next week. He is surely dismayed by the heathen. But he's going to deal with his house first. So we need to get ourselves in order, like the brother was saying. We need to follow his laws, his statutes, and commandments. Listen to the brother, man. Rewind his tape and listen diligently to this brother, man, because what he's saying will save your life. You don't need a respirator. You do, however, need the Most High. All right? Your oppressor ain't going to give you a respirator. You know why all these black folks dying, man? Because they got to make a choice between giving a respirator to a white man, giving a respirator to a black man. Nobody's stupid, man. You may be blind and brainwashed in this place, but you're not stupid, black man and woman. You know who they gonna give that respirator to. You know where those resources, those governmental and federal resources are going to. They're not going to poor underclass black and Hispanic neighborhoods. They're going to protect and shore up the reign and the dominance of white supremacy. It is what it is. You better rewind this tape and listen to what the hell this brother is talking about. Salakia. And with that, Israel, I imagine Shabbat, Majim, Rock, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shabbat.
Yahweh Shem Shabbat.
That was one courtesy salute to the teacher. Men of Israel, let's do it over again. Men of Israel, I imagine Shabbat, I imagine Barak, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shabbat.
Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shabbat.
Yazimata, dismissed.